day and welcome to the first episode of Cocoa with Afrros. How are you today? Wherever you are, in whichever part of the world you are, I'm immensely grateful for this opportunity to be talking with you today. I know we had the Ask Me Anything going on Racket, and Racket has now moved on in terms of their model, and they have disabled the Ask Me Anything. So this, I hope, is going to replace that. Let's see if we should test it out, right? And you can either email me on LinkedIn with your questions, or you can leave comments on this video, or you can reach out to me on social platforms, Instagram, Twitter, DM me, and I can get your questions and we can make things happen. All right. On that note, these are some of the questions you asked me before Racket shifted to the new model. So, and I'm quite amazed. A lot of you have asked me questions on relationship, and so let's dedicate the next 15 minutes to relationships as part of our first episode with on Cocoa with Afrros. By the way, how do you like the name? I love hot chocolate. I don't know about you, but yeah, why not? Okay, so in terms of, just to set context, yes, it is true, I've never been married. I've never gone out on dates, and I've never had a boyfriend. Not because I didn't have very many opportunities. It was a conscious choice at that time, and it is true. Right now I'm running the Cupid challenge, so if you're single and I'm straight, right? So no offense to anybody, and if you're a male, please do go look at First Contact and take the quiz, and you never know, things may just fall in place for us. And I'm surprised because most of these questions are coming from people who do not know me. So people who I grew up with, my friend circle throughout in the cosmos, know for a fact my parents are a happily married couple, 40 plus years. 40 plus years of blissful marriage is outstanding, right? And I'm their product. So I'm very positive my man's going to be very, very, very lucky to have me in his life whenever that happens, and whoever he is and wherever he is, I'm sure he'll show up. But what puzzled me is the fact that on Racket I've done a few conversations on relationships, and off the back of it people have asked me questions, which is awesome, right? So I want to assure you you're in good hands, because I've seen them, I've grown up in front of them, right? The formative years at least, and grade 4 onwards, I would organize candlelight dinners for them, their marriage anniversary, I would cook them hakka noodles, give them the evening to themselves, take care of my younger sister. So in terms of romance, in terms of building a relationship, at that early age, I have integrated that in me. So I'm thrilled, I'm really thrilled to be doing the first episode on relationships, as a matter of fact. Okay, let's get into the questions, right? In terms of, the first question has been in terms of the equation between how men perceive versus how females perceive. So I'll give you an example. What works and what doesn't work is the question. So, and it's a good question, by the way. I'll give you an example. I'll take me as an example, and we can take other examples from society which are in the public domain as well. So let's take me for an example. Let's say I'm flying to LA, and my man is in LA, and I'm attending, let's say Mr. Fox, his event. So I'm going to broadcast it. The idea of broadcasting for a female is not about making him jealous, right? It's about informing him, hey, I'm coming to your city. If you're really interested in me, this is your opportunity, make your move, right? And let's say he has an event happening as well in LA. Exactly those dates, right? So if he is genuinely interested, instead of taking it from a standpoint of ego and letting it drive him away from me, he's going to take a step towards me and say, hi Afrros, I hear you're in town. I have an event happening. Boom, boom. I would love to see you there, even if it's just for an hour. Okay? That tells me two things. One, he's giving me attention. He's paying attention to my whereabouts, and he's really, really interested in meeting me and making us happen, right? It's very important that, and most masculine male will get triggered and they'll take an ego standpoint and they'll try to create something with someone else just to get back at her, okay, to make her jealous. Making people jealous, playing mind games actually complicates things. It doesn't help anybody. It doesn't help you, it doesn't help him, it doesn't help you, it doesn't help her, right? Now, if you are, let's take a different scenario. I know for me, people who I care about, genuinely I connect with, I will applaud. I'll be the first one to congratulate you and celebrate you where it's required. But when it's required, I need to correct you or step in. It's not about correcting, but providing you a different lens on a topic. I will not hesitate. So what am I really saying? The world can see the tip of the iceberg and is appreciating you all throughout, but I see the entire iceberg and I see that is visible to everybody. But down here, people are not seeing it. I can see your potential and I want the world to see this. That's why I'm stepping in with a different lens and having the conversation with you. You need to understand that. And females who are invested in their man, who are not in it just for the money, will 200% do it. Have that conversation, and there'll be that because you're intimate, because there's trust, there's bond, there's connection, and you want to grow together. And you expect, as a female, you would expect the same from him to step in when you're making a mistake. To tap me on my shoulder and say, Afrros, hang on, that's excellent, but have you considered this? I think you have the potential for ABC and you should be considering XYZ so that you can get to PQR, right? That is what I would expect from my man. And I've seen my parents, like my dad, throughout the day he'd be super busy. He'd come back home and over a cup of tea or coffee, whatever they're enjoying for the evening, he would run my mom through specific scenarios that were challenging for him, or he would take her opinion. What are your thoughts on this, right? He values her. It's not just, I am the man, I take all the decisions. Even in his career, he's involved his wife and given her that respect and brought it together. And it's just beautiful. It's very, very empowering, both for the masculine and feminine energy. Let's take, the other question is on Kanye West and stuff people have asked me. In fact, there are two questions. So, what do I think about Kanye and Kim? Look, there are all kinds of people. Okay? In life, as an individual, you need to have your own personal goals, right? When I say personal goals, my dad has his personal goals. Every year he sets his goals and goes and accomplishes it. But together, dad and mom also have their goals, okay? And being being able to grow together and grow individually are equally important. Absolutely important. But you cannot do one at the expense of the other. And most couples make that mistake. In his case, in Kanye's case, I think he just chose the wrong person. He invested too much in a woman who was using him to get to her billions. That's all that it was. He was just a step on the ladder. That's what he was. And the earlier the masculine energy understands this, the faster you can distance yourself from that feminine energy. Now where he is, he's going through too much pain because he feels tapped in the back. That's why you're seeing what's playing out. Okay? Even then, it's a waste of his time, energy, and potential to be investing so much time and energy in it. Another character is the lady. What's her name? The name slips my mind. But it's interesting. It's fascinating. In March of 2020, she mentally and emotionally switched off from EM, and yet she portrays to the world she's in it, right? Which obviously confuses EM. He doesn't have a fulfilled, stable, emotional, intimate sphere. Plus, she's leveraging him for all his projects, which is kind of sad. And Ian needs to pick up his game and turn around and distance himself once for all on all social platforms. And if she needs help, yes, absolutely help her. But beyond that he shouldn't be investing. In terms of going back to you know how I spoke about the iceberg, Kanye West and Kim, they could look at that from that standpoint as well, right? In terms of Kanye being able to take responsibility for himself instead of Kim looking at the iceberg, the tip of the iceberg versus the base of the iceberg. Kanye needs to look at it for himself and say, hang on, I have so much potential. Why am I investing so much time, energy, attention in a human being who has moved on, right? So from that standpoint, I think we should be taking detailed notes on how to distance ourselves from a toxic individual in our life. I'm not saying human beings are bad. I'm not saying judge a fellow human being, but I am saying treasure yourself, okay? So it's about self-love as well. I think that's a very strong theme to learn from the entire Kanye Kim episode. And look, she's clear about what she wants. She has her goals and she knows where she's going, and that's why she's going where she's going, which is not wrong, by the way, okay? Every human being has a dream that only that human being can bring into the world, okay? And it's up to each human being to live out their potential. And all she's doing is saying, I want to live out my potential, which is awesome, by the way. But it should not be at the expense of a fellow human. She should not have used him to get to where she is. She could have helped him by being just friends with him rather than his wife over the years. And yeah, anyways, I think people make choices and then somewhere universe comes full circle, and universe will come full circle for her as well. All right. The next question is on someone's seen the Cupid challenge and what and why the Cupid challenge. So the question is what and why the Cupid challenge. Okay, so I think all of us need a Cupid in our life, someone who would tap someone's shoulder and say, hey, have you heard about Afrros? She's awesome, you can meet her, la 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 la, right? Or have you heard about Jane? The question comes from Jane, so someone playing Cupid for you. And if you don't have that someone, step up and be on Cupid, right? Create a virtual Cupid. That's what I've done. That's exactly what I've done. Instead of going on a dating app, and that's the second part of your question, why did you not opt to get onto a dating app? Dating app, see, a man who is very clear that he wants to get into a stable equation, he will show up and take that quiz, which is on the first contact that I've published. On the dating app, you do meet a lot of people, but men who are either wasting their time or just want a fling. A sincere man will actually go directly to the source rather than play around in the field, right? So the entire mind game, playing the field, checking people out, test driving people doesn't work. Absolutely doesn't work. Okay? What works is having clarity. There are 3 things you need in a relationship. One is, does the person give me attention? Super important. And is my attention reciprocated? How do you know attention is being reciprocated? Simple things. On Twitter, when I tweet, I have 2 emojis, text, 2 emojis. That's my signature style. Now, a man who is wanting to tell me he has my attention and he's giving me attention would, it's about mirroring me. It's body language, right? Similarly, in the virtual space, that's how you would mirror each other. If I know he uses word asterisk, I will use it, right? It's simple, very, very subtle, but you have conveyed to him that he is treasured, right? You're giving him attention. So the second is stability. So first was attention, second is stability. How do you know someone brings you stability? Your energy will integrate and ground. Your aspirations will grow. You'll have clarity and confidence integrated with happiness. Okay, those are the 3 things that you have, and you will grow as a person because of her or him in your life. Okay, and third, the ability to make something together, in terms of build something together. That equation, that relationship, that frequency matching needs to happen, right? So those are the 3 things that you need to look for in a relationship. So we just saw the 3 things that we need: attention, stability, and the ability to make things together, right? As man and wife. A great example is Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs, he actually completely organized, right, the entire thing. So what did he do? He was to speak at an event. He made certain the invite goes out to the organization that his wife, to-be wife, future wife, was at, and made certain she is in the audience. Step number 1. Step number 2. At that event, she shows up, she's listening, she's wowed by him, and then after the event, he goes up to her. Obviously, after the event, people are interacting, right? So it's an open floor. He actually takes the time, the energy to walk up to her. Okay, so he doesn't wait for her to come out to him. He goes out to her, introduces himself, has a conversation. That conversation connects, right? The moment there's that energy flow. Now, as soon as there's that connect, what he does next is beautiful. He steps up his game right there, right then, and takes massive action, right? He doesn't leave it to, oh, let me try 15 days from now. Let's see if she comes back. I want to follow her on social platforms. I'll wait to see if she follows me on social platforms. No. It doesn't work that way. So he actually invites her for dinner soon after this event. And she's like, obviously he doesn't first position dinner. He first says, checks in what she has organized. Where is she going after the event? So obviously she's like, no, my calendar is open, I'm going home. So why don't we grab something together? And that's where then the conversation opens up. He actually bonds with her quality time that they spend. The dinner lasts for at least 3 hours, I think, the first dinner. And at the end of the first dinner, he has complete clarity. She is right for me. He does not hesitate on the spot to ask her for her hand in marriage for himself. That's a masculine man. A man who knows where she was, in which organization, invites her, makes certain she shows up, sees that she's responding to his presentation, so there's interest, right? She's actually taking interest in him. And then once he's made certain, he reaches out after the presentation. Again, the interest is there, and the energy is there, the positive vibes. Both are happy interacting with each other. And then he takes it one more step further. He doesn't wait, he doesn't waste time. It's boom, 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 right? At the end of that first dinner, she turns around and says, she doesn't say no, but she doesn't say yes either, okay? And most females will do that, 200%. And you guys have to understand that, because women would be super surprised when a man pulls off something like that, okay? Any human being would. And you do need to collect yourself, be in the moment, and be able to respond. And most humans will not be able to. So he's cool with it. He organizes a follow-up, catch-up, dinner catch-up again. And they have second and a third and a fourth. It's the fifth dinner catch-up that she turns around and says, all right, we are on, okay? So it's once you've identified this person connects with you really well, this person gives you that energy, she has shown up for me, I need to pick up my game and show up for her, right? It's that masculine energy that needs to drive it. And that's when it all comes together. Even my mom and dad, my dad, all he knew, he wanted a female who has minimum bachelor's degree. Doesn't matter the field of education, but he wanted a wife who has that minimum education so that she can contribute to her children holistically, right? And of course, there's that intellectual give and take. So really important. And moving on to the next question and the last question, toxic relationships is what the question revolves around. What is my recommendation for toxic relationships? Think about it in business. What would you do, right? Let's park relationships aside for a minute. In your professional sphere, in your business sphere, how would you tackle someone? Would you stoop down to their level, or would you politely agree to disagree and keep moving on? I think you'll do the latter. Even if the person stole your entire business, right? A segment of your business, a business partner who you split ways, you all went your own ways, even then, you will not, and I repeat, you will not invest time in avenging, taking revenge. You will not do that, because you understand emotionally and mentally that your time and energy is better invested in creating and expanding your existing business, and in it lies your victory. Exactly that in relationship sphere as well. We all bump into, I'll give you an example. A friend of mine, she expired, her husband, Anuj is the man's name. His concern today is the fact that he does not get laid. I mean, how lame. He doesn't miss her emotionally. He misses the physicality of the relationship. And he kept harassing different females in his group. I was one of the friends that he was trying to reach out. I completely blocked him on social platforms and told him very clearly, mate, I'm not game, you gotta go, right? And I actually gave him like final warning, if he ever reaches out to me, I am going to report him to the cops, right? That is when he stopped reaching out to me. You need to step up for yourself. You need to know where you want your energy and time and what kind of people you want in your network, in your sphere. And treasure your sphere. Bring people who bring higher vibrations into your life, right? And that man has disappeared, completely disappeared from my circle, right? And he will never find a place again. The sad part of it all is he has 2 daughters. Can you imagine a man whose wife is dead and the only thing he is missing is not intimacy, is not the emotional support, but the physical aspect of it. Ugh, it was crap, really crap. Anyways, going back to your question, right? Step up, clearly understand what you want to create in your intimate sphere. I'm not saying judge fellow humans, but don't hesitate to tell people what you want from them. Okay? Step up, own your own life. It's your life. And you're only going to live once. Might as well make it beautiful. Might as well live out your potential. Might as well color that canvas, the blank canvas with dash of colors of all kinds, of all vibration, of all frequencies that jive with you, right? It's your masterpiece. Your life is your masterpiece. And your gift, only you can bring to the world. I, for one, want that gift. I love receiving gifts, by the way. So please do live out your potential. Please get out of toxic relationship and own your life and create the kind of life you want. The other thing I wanted to touch base was sex-based relationships. Absolutely, couple of things. One, if you're a high IQ individual, it's going to be high sexual drive, don't get me wrong. People with high intellect do have high sexual drive, but they're using that energy for idea generation, for solving problems, for being the outliers, for being the geniuses that they are, okay? So the more you indulge, so the converse is true, the more you indulge in sexual based desires, your IQ is going to slowly drop. That's why prolonged exposure to porn actually reduces your IQ. Something you should be mindful of, okay? So I don't just get into a relationship because you have physical needs. That's not going to last. Absolutely doesn't last. Kim and Kanye, that was the prime reason it did not work. Because for her, it was that sexual attraction. For him, it was that sexual attraction. And then, obviously, they had to part ways, okay? Alright, on that note, I will wrap up today's Coco with Afrros episode 1. Hopefully, we'll do this every Sunday, depending on what questions I get. We can keep the conversation going. So, we'll take it from there. Have a good one. Take care.